The Maple Root Diner woke up with that classic smell of butter on the griddle, strong coffee, and trucker small talk at 6 in the morning. So far, nothing unusual. Frank calling out orders like a tired maestro, Miss June already complaining that the toaster has a demon living inside it, and the doorbell chiming every time someone walked in to grab a quick coffee before work. But that day, my friend, that day, life decided to test Emily's patience hard. She arrived early, tying her apron, hair thrown up any way it stayed, still with the face of someone who fought the alarm clock and lost. She tossed her bag in the locker, took a deep breath, and walked into the dining area with that professional smile only people who work with the public know how to make, friendly enough to seem human, but nowhere near actually happy. Frank noticed immediately. "Morning, Carter. Where'd you sleep? Bus station?" "Hilarious, Frank. Real hilarious. Just saying if you want. I can lend you my inflatable pillow. Frank, if you keep going, I'll pour hot coffee right on your lap." Classic. That kind of affection they throw at each other every single day. But before Emily could even take the first order, the world decided to fall apart. And of course it started with who? Always him. Gary, the substitute cook. If you've already forgotten Gary, let me refresh your memory. He's the guy who always looks like he's doing everything for the very first time, even after 2 years on the job. The man lives in tutorial mode. Emily walks into the kitchen and finds Gary trying to light an industrial burner with a match, with the oven door open and the gas on full blast. She freezes. "Oh, Gary, for the love of God, don't..." Poof! A burst of blue flame shoots out of the oven, almost taking the poor guy's eyebrows off. He jumps backward, drops a tray of raw bacon on the floor, trips, smacks into the pan cart, and everything makes a noise worthy of a disaster movie. Frank comes running. "What are you two doing? Trying to roast Gary for breakfast?" Gary, panicked, wipes his face. I think the oven doesn't like me." Emily presses her hand to her forehead and breathes in slowly. "Gary, sweetheart, the oven is not the problem. This is the point where you'd think the day would stabilize, right? Of course not. This is the Maple Root Diner. Life here never gives you a break." 8:10 a.m. The rush started, all the stools taken, conversations, the clinking of silverware against plates, people ordering extra coffee, kids spilling juice. Emily was on autopilot, writing orders, delivering plates, laughing at unfunny jokes, everything going more or less fine until the bell above the door rings, and in walks the most hated customer of all, Mr. Henderson, ironed dress shirt, face like he sucks on lemons for fun, and zero humor. He has that IRS auditor look, already judging everyone the second he steps inside. "Table 4, Henderson. Want the usual?" Emily asks. He takes a slow, dramatic breath, the kind he loves to do. "Not today. Today, I want to try something new." Emily thinks, great, the soap opera begins. "Okay, what would you like?" "I want pancakes, but not too thick, not too thin, just right. And I want them hot, but not too hot. And I want syrup, but not too much syrup. And I want..." "Mr. Henderson, if you keep describing it, I'm gonna need a team meeting just to write it down." He scowls. "I'm paying for a service, Miss Carter, and I provide the service, Mr. Henderson. I just don't provide an instruction manual." He huffs. She walks away. Everyone wins. Emily hands the order to Gary. The problem is Gary. Well, Gary shouldn't be allowed near a frying pan, but people keep insisting. He looks at the ticket. "Perfect pancakes? What does that mean?" "It means that if you mess up, he sues you." "Seriously?" "No, but maybe." Pressure rises. Gary makes the pancakes trembling like he's defusing a bomb. Almost burns the first, drops the second, breaks an egg on the floor and steps on the shell. The kitchen looks like a battlefield. When he finally finishes the plate, Emily takes it out. But halfway there, a kid runs into her. The tray flips, pancakes fly, syrup splashes on the floor. The plate rolls until it bumps into Mr. Henderson's shoe. Total silence. Emily looks at the scene. Henderson looks at Emily. The kid runs off pretending innocence, and she thinks, this is it. I'm done. I'm quitting. I'll go plant grapes for a living. I'll become a nun, anything. But she swallows it, breathes, smiles, that smile that says, I'm hanging by a thread. Sorry for the incident, sir. I'll bring another. Henderson folds his arms. I expect it to be better than the first. She answers without looking at him. It will be, or we'll call NASA to make it. And the day continues. Around 9:40, a lady with a pink hat asks for a chamomile tea, but not that tea bag you people use. The other one you should be using. Emily looks for it. Of course it doesn't exist. Frank tries to help, grabs a random tea bag, rips off the little tag, puts it in a teapot and says, now it's premium. The lady praises it. Wow, this one is good. Emily looks at Frank with a, I'm telling God on you face. But the peak of the chaos hadn't arrived yet. At 10:10, a noise comes from the kitchen. Not a normal noise, not a drop pan, not Gary screaming because he burned a finger. It was the kind of noise that makes your soul leave your body. B-A-N-G. Everyone looks toward the kitchen door. Frank runs. Emily runs behind him. When they get there, the microwave is literally smoking. Thick gray smoke, stinking up everything. And in the middle of it, Gary, with the expression of a dog that tried to fry a laptop. Gary, what did you put inside the microwave? Emily asks, already massaging her face. An egg. In the shell. Yes, Gary, that's a biological grenade. The egg exploded inside. Egg white on one side, yolk on the ceiling, a smell that could make anyone lose faith in humanity. Frank opens the door and nearly faints. My God, it looks like a chicken had a car accident in here. Emily looks at the scene, thinking about how much she makes per hour. Not worth it, she thinks. Not even close, but she cleans it up, because someone has to. And Gary gets the gentlest scolding possible, because Emily already knows that if you raise your voice, he cries. After the egg explosion, the kitchen looked like an environmental crime scene. The smell was so strong that even Miss June, who survived 8 husbands and 3 emotional hurricanes, wrinkled her nose. What on earth is that smell, my goodness? Frank answers without even looking at her. The smell of incompetence, June. Pure incompetence. Emily tries to laugh, but nope. She's still scrubbing the microwave, wondering if she deserves a medal just for staying employed. But there's no 5 minutes of peace. The diner door swings open again, and in walks the one person no one wanted to see on this particular day. The local reporter, the dreaded Pamela Darts. That woman can sniff out a story where absolutely nothing is happening. If she sees a cat crossing the street, she'll craft a 5-minute segment about urban negligence. Emily freezes. Oh no, not today, please. Frank looks over and mutters, perfect. The only thing missing to complete today's chaos bingo. Pamela walks into the diner like she's entering a courtroom, where she's the judge, the prosecutor, and the defendant all at once. Good morning. I'm reviewing independent restaurants for a feature on hygiene and best practices. Emily feels her soul leaving her body. Hygiene? Today? Really, God? Seriously? Pamela immediately starts inspecting every microscopic detail. She swipes a finger along the counter, smells the sugar jar, takes notes, looks at the floor like she's expecting to find a body, and of course, kitchen smoke decides to leak out through the door. Pamela lifts her chin with that classic "I knew this place was hiding culinary sins" expression. Is something happening in the kitchen? Emily thinks. If I tell the truth, she shuts the diner down. If I lie, she walks in there and dies of intoxication. Tough choice. So she says, nothing serious. Gary did a culinary experiment. Pamela raises her eyebrows. Did it explode? Almost. And what kind of experiment was it? An egg. I see. That, I see, means the exact opposite. It means I'm about to destroy you in my article. Morning rolls on. Emily tries to keep the dining room afloat while Pamela circles the place like a grumpy hawk. Table 3 calls, "Miss, my coffee's weak." Table 5, "Miss, my coffee's too strong." Table 2, "Miss, my toast is too crunchy." Table 7, "Miss, my toast is too soft." Emily looks around and thinks, the universe is messing with me. It has to be. And then comes the divine cherry on top. A group of teenagers, 5 of them, all holding phones, all laughing loud, all determined to order ridiculous things just to watch Emily lose her mind. "We want 5 milkshakes." "Okay, flavors? 1 caramel latte macchiato. Do you have that?" This is a diner, not Starbucks. "Oh, we have chocolate, strawberry and vanilla." "Then I want strawberry without strawberry. That's called vanilla." "Then make it vanilla." Another kid jumps in. "I want a milkshake without milk." "So you want what? Cold air in a cup?" That works. Emily doesn't laugh. She doesn't even smile. But inside she's already packed her bags and moved to another planet. And of course, Pamela watches the whole scene and writes it down. She writes down everything. Around 11 a.m., when Emily thinks nothing else can possibly go wrong, Gary appears in the kitchen doorway holding a steaming pot. "Emily, we need to talk." She closes her eyes slowly. "Gary, what now?" "The sauce pot. It turned into a thing." "A thing?" "Yes, I don't know what it is. But it moved." Emily and Frank stare at each other. Frank sighs. "If that sauce grew a consciousness, I'm quitting." They walk into the kitchen. The pot is bubbling, thicker than it should be, with a suspicious burnt smell. It doesn't look alive, but it does look resentful. Emily leans in. "Gary, what exactly did you put in here?" He thinks, scratches his chin, thinks again, scratches again. "Everything that was on the shelf." "Of everything?" "Yeah, I figured it would become a versatile sauce." Emily looks at the pot like she's staring at a sworn enemy. "This isn't versatile, this is a chemical accident." At that exact moment, Pamela walks into the kitchen without knocking, announcing herself or having permission. Emily and Frank turn instantly, but it's too late. Pamela sees the mutant pot, sees the smoke, sees Gary holding a spoon like a biological weapon, and then she smiles. That kind of smile that announces doom. Interesting, very interesting. Emily tries to explain. "This doesn't represent the diner's standards. Today is just an exception, an explosive exception." "Pamela, please, don't worry. My article will be honest." Emily looks at Frank, and Frank looks at Emily. They both know honest, coming from Pamela, means devastating. But the universe still had one last punchline ready. On her way out of the kitchen, Pamela steps exactly where? On the puddle of syrup spilled earlier. She slips like a cartoon character, hits the floor, her pen goes flying, her notebook launches into the air, and she lands flat on her back with a sharp little yelp. The entire dining room turns to look. Silence. 1 second of shock, and then, "Oh my God, Pamela!" Emily yells, running to help her, even though she kinda wants to laugh. Pamela lifts a hand like she's on her deathbed. I'm fine. I just slipped," Emily thinks. If there's a god of irony, he works overtime. The reporter stands up, retrieves her syrup-soaked notebook, dusts herself off, and walks out of the diner with the posture of someone who just lost all dignity and is definitely going to take revenge in writing. After Pamela slipped on the syrup, walked out sticky, humiliated, and probably planning literary revenge, the diner fell into that weird kind of silence, the kind that lasts about 40 seconds before the universe drops another bomb. Emily sighs, turns on the coffee maker for the 4th time that day, and thinks, if I make it to noon, I deserve an Oscar. But of course, noon is way too optimistic. That's when the door opens again, and he walks in. A man in his early 50s, navy blazer, light shirt, stiff posture. Everything about him feels out of place. He's not a diner customer. He's not a quick coffee person. He's someone who should be in a boardroom. not leaning over a greasy counter beside a jukebox. Emily can tell instantly he's trying not to fall apart. He scans the room, hesitates, almost walks out. But he picks a corner, the most discreet spot, like someone trying to disappear inside his own tie. Emily grabs a clean mug and walks over. "Good morning, coffee?" He swallows hard, barely making eye contact. "Please." She paused. He holds the cup with both hands, not because he's cold, but because he needs something to anchor himself. "First time here?" "Yes." "Everything okay?" He hesitates. The yes climbs all the way up, but doesn't leave his mouth. He tries an escape route. "Just a hard day." Emily knows that line. It's the same one truckers use when they're about to hand over a heart that needs lubrication, but she doesn't push. She lets him drink, lets him breathe. Only when a bit of tension leaves his shoulders does he say, without looking up, "I have a son." Emily leans in slightly, alert. "Oh, I think I lost him. Not physically, but he doesn't talk to me, doesn't listen." You know when you realize that? Maybe you got there too late. Emily feels that familiar tightening in her chest. Those customers who walk into the diner carrying sentences that weigh a ton. "What's his name?" "Arthur." He lets out a humorless laugh. "My son doesn't even want to be in the same room as me." Emily sets the dish towel on the counter and speaks gently. "So why did you come here?" He thinks for a moment. First he reaches for the logical answer, then the honest one. To run away. And did it work? He finally looks at her. Not at all. It's obvious he's not there for the coffee. He's there because he doesn't know where else to go. Emily doesn't push him. She just lets the silence do its job. He finishes his coffee, pays, thanks her, too polite for someone carrying that much hurt, and leaves. But the way he holds the door before stepping out, frozen for half a second, says everything. He hasn't finished that conversation. He just doesn't have the courage yet. And Emily sees that. So before heading back to the counter, she murmurs, "He'll come back." And she knows he will. The next day, same time, same place, as if the universe had reserved that chair just for him. The door opens, and there he is, the man in the blazer. No coffee yet, but already carrying that tired look. Emily walks over like she never left. "Good morning." "I don't know why I came back." "I do." He frowns. "You do? You've got a conversation stuck halfway." He tries to hide it, but the truth is already on the table. He sits. She pours the coffee. "Yesterday, you said your son doesn't talk to you." He holds his breath for a moment. "Yeah, and it's not hard to understand why. What happened?" He looks at the coffee, not at her. "I failed him. Simple as that." Emily doesn't answer. She just waits. "I worked too much, always too much. When he wanted to play, I was tired. When he wanted to talk, I was busy. When he wanted a father, I was somewhere else." He rubs his face. "And now he's 17. And I look at him and I don't recognize him. And he looks at me and he doesn't see anything." Emily props her elbow on the table. "You ever told him that?" "Of course not." "Why not?" "Because I couldn't handle hearing the answer." She gets it. The world is full of scared parents and kids who are waiting. "You want to fix that?" He doesn't even let her finish. "With everything I've got. And what have you done so far?" He laughs. Sad. "Bought things, gave gifts, gave money. I've done everything wrong." Emily crosses her arms, tilting her head. "You know what he might be waiting for?" "What?" "A father. Not a sponsor." It hits him, not violently, just accurately. He closes his eyes. "I don't know how to start." Emily smiles gently. "Start small. No speeches, no promises, no fancy lines. Just show up. Be there. And if he doesn't want me around, you insist, without invading. You show that you're there, every day, even if it's just for a minute." He thinks hard, really hard. And finally, for the first time, something close to hope appears. "I think I can try." Before leaving, he asks, "Do you think it's still possible?" Emily answers without blinking. "If you're alive and he's alive, it is." He nods, leaves. But this time, unlike yesterday, he walks out with a plan, and Emily watches through the window. He's walking lighter. 2 days go by. The Maple Root Diner wakes up for another shift. And as always, with that classic smell of butter on the griddle and strong coffee. So far, everything normal. Frank calling out orders like a tired orchestra conductor. Mrs. June already complaining that the toaster has a demon in it, and the doorbell chiming every time someone walks in for a quick pre-work coffee. Emily takes a deep breath, the kind only someone who holds the world together with a dish towel can take. She straightens the tables, swaps out a salt shaker, wipes a cup. Except her advice-seeking clientele for a better life seems to have gone on vacation until the door rings. It's him, but this time he's different. Blazer unbuttoned, tie loosened, eyes less tense. You could almost say he's breathing again. Emily smiles. Good morning. I did it. She pulls out the chair and sits. Tell me. He runs a hand through his hair. Nervous, but the good kind of nervous. I went to his room. I didn't bring a gift, didn't bring a speech. I just knocked on the door. He laughs. He didn't like it very much. Emily laughs too. Normal, but I talked. I told him I messed up, that I'm trying to fix it now, that I don't want him growing up thinking his father doesn't care. And what did he say? The man swallows hard, but now it's the good kind of emotion. He cried. I cried. We talked for 2 hours. For the first time in many, many years. Emily touches his hand, a gesture that says, I knew it. And now we're starting over, slowly, but starting. Emily takes a deep, satisfied breath. Congratulations. He smiles, a full smile finally. You have no idea how much you helped me. I just served coffee. No, you served direction. The same line she once heard from the trucker, and she realizes that in some way, this changes her too. He finishes his coffee, stands, grabs his blazer. Thank you, truly. Come back anytime. I will. He leaves. And this time, there's no hesitation at the door, no weight on his shoulders, just someone who found his way back. Emily takes a long breath, puts his mug away carefully, and goes back to the counter. Normal routine, but her heart, that one is never normal, because one more life walked out of there different from how it walked in. And that's exactly why she stays in that diner.